Here we are. Look, it actually worked out. I like it. Hey, and we're all here.
Woo!
And it started. I like how this for all of you billions of people watching us today. Welcome to Muck. Thank you for being here with us as we try out a new program, or at least I'm trying out a new program. For better or worse, it's going to work or not. But anyhow, we have Shauna tonight. So that's good.
Yay.
And but this night is all about Pam and her guest, Mr. Terry Rowe, and I'm going to let her take over at this point.
All right. Well, it is Kansas's night, and I just lost the screen that I wanted up. What are the odds of that? Okay, there we go. I got what I needed back. So good evening, everybody, and thanks so much for joining us. And it is, like Adrian said, it's Kansas's night, and our guest tonight is Mr. Terry Rowe. What are we doing? We got some feedback somewhere.
Hey guys, you want me to turn my mic off because you might be hearing street noise.
There we go. I just mute him.
Oh.
I got the power.
No. Oh no. Okay, so tonight's guest is Mr. Terry Rowe. He is the owner of Adventure Tours of Kansas. He's been a supernatural investigator since the 80s. And he has some really interesting information to share with us. And he's got some really cool tours that they do. So, Terry, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Oh, hang on.
Oh, I got him muted.
Rude.
I'm totally rude. Okay. Now, there we go.
Maybe you don't want me to talk. No, I started the paranormal journey way back in the 80s, and we lived in Colorado. I was on search and rescue with Colorado, the state of Colorado, and saw some pretty crazy things paranormally doing search and rescue. We lived over by Martin Marietta, which was a place where they researched with new types of military stuff. So I got heavily into the UFO side of things, saw lots of different things. But back in those days, everyone just thought you were crazy if you talked about them. And when I moved to Kansas, started experiencing the same things in Kansas and thought, I'm in a position where I own my property. My 3 boys are here, and I'm just going to go full time into researching the paranormal, supernatural, everything that, we can explain. So I dived in with both feet, and right off the bat, there was tons of stuff. And it was back in the day before paranormal teams kind of ruined locations for everyone. By trespassing and those kind of things. So it was so easy for me to get into places. I never really had to beg, or I just walk into, and we caught so much good evidence, met a few people, and started a group called Kansas Researchers Unexplained Phenomenon. And then we started our Midwest UFO reporting agency, where people could go and report UFO sightings in this region. And those took off, did really well. Then I formed a group called KPA. It was Kansas Paranormal Alliance, where I wanted all the paranormal groups that were coming in, all the young kids and stuff that were just getting their feet wet in it. I wanted them all to come together and let's start networking all of our information and research. And lots of resistance. People were fame hunting back in those days. They all wanted to be the ghost hunters. And so that really never panned out. And I started, one time I had this dream and I was holding this object and it was picking up ghost stuff everywhere I went. And I went into my lab the next day and I invented it. And it was a circuit that could pick up 260 millihertz, which we found out is the negative frequency that can hijack other frequency. So I wanted to start doing research with this circuit board that I invented, and it actually worked. I was able to isolate negative energy and frequencies with this device.
Oh, nice.
So I started making equipment that you probably see some of it around still. It was like I had a yes no machine, and it was tuned to 260 millihertz, to where you could have a conversation with an entity or whatever it was, frequency, and it could answer you.
Oh, wow. That is so cool.
That is.
We were able to get onto ghost hunters at the time. I started sponsoring like Hell's Bar Dam down in, I think it's Tennessee, Chattanooga somewhere, and we had all of our equipment down there. Zach Bagan went down there once and used some of it, and then Ghost Hunters got some of the equipment, and Barry Fitzgerald from England, Europe, came and got some of them. But that's where everything went wrong. They started stealing my technology.
Oh.
Kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, but whatever. As
Oh,
long
it
as
hurt mine too.
as long as the research gets out there, I don't care. But after a while, you just get so many pictures, you get so many EVPs, you get so much footage of video, and there's nowhere to take it to. There's no organizations that can go, okay, we're really going to research this. We're going to look at all your metadata that you have to make sure it's not CGI'd, and there's just no place to take it. So I kind of got discouraged and said, well, I'm just going to entertain people with this because it's fun. And I'm going to open up Adventure Tours of Kansas. And that's where I'm at now. And we only actually do one paranormal tour. It's a haunted hayrack. And we have a hayrack that we go out to a little town called Covert, Kansas. And it was a scene of a horrific murder out there. There was some inheritance battles going on, and one of the sons went in and murdered the entire family. There was like 7 of them, and then caught their house on fire and burned them.
Nice.
Wow.
Not
And
really, but
That is
then he went into the barn that was near their house that was burning, and he committed suicide.
wow.
And right next to that is a couple, we call it the Twin Mounds, and it's where a shaman used to live back in the early 1800s. And we think that he cursed the ground, and I really believe that something possessed this man to do that, because his family was not derelict. They were big farmers and ranchers. They seemed like they had all their morals going, and just for him to do this was very strange. But that's where we take people out. And in the past, we used to do places like Fort Larned. And I sent you some pictures of the blacksmith shop there.
Yes. Those are the ones. Adrian, you'll have to run that part for us.
Which one was that?
The Larned.
It's the one where it's kind of like the cowboy looking around the corner and the whistle.
It's the second one. It says
Second
Larned.
one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. That's the blacksmith shop at Fort Larned. And the blacksmith there, his name was Mr. Mackey. And we never failed to get, we got research there all the time.
Wow.
That's incredible. I think
Every time we went, we were just amazed at what we caught.
there's a couple of slides. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was with my low lux camera, and then the other image is enhanced. But at the very point when this picture was taken, one of our investigators was asking Mr. Mackey a question, and he whistled, or something whistled. So it was kind of a good catch there.
It
It is. Yeah, that's the YouTube video. If we could share that.
And we were able to go back, and they said that he used to whistle while he always did his blacksmithing.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
So,
It's a very plain whistle too.
All right.
yeah. I should have cut the intro on it.
It's fine. We're sharing you out.
Mr. Mackey, can we take your picture, please? Mr. Mackey, can we take your picture, please?
Wow.
So that was during a tour. So the voices that you hear in the background were guests that were on the other side of the building. But one of our investigators was being serious and actually hunting ghosts.
That was like loud.
It's incredibly
and
plain. I
weird.
mean, it's really, really a good capture.
That was about like the one that we heard at the place that we can't name in Arkansas that we heard it was me and another investigator that was down there. We heard it whistling and we're running up and down the hallways trying to figure out where it's coming from, and then all of a sudden people start appearing on that floor and it's like, were you whistling? Were you whistling? Were you whistling? Like, no, we were on the second floor and it was plain as day, just like that. And I still don't know where that video is.
We've had
somewhere in that mess behind you.
Yep, somewhere back there, somewhere.
Is that mine stuff from that mess or yeah.
Yeah. Some over there. I think it's more on the mess on the computer than it is back there.
So you did, Terry, you did send us some other really cool evidence that you'd collected. And we have some, and it's the UFO evidence. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, that was a place where it's in Rooks County, Kansas. And there was a sheep mutilation there. So we were called to that to see that. And so we set up trap cameras, and that's what we caught the night after the sheep mutilation. There was one really strange thing with the sheep mutilation. It was a 300-pound ram, very heavy animal. And it was taken out into the forest for the animals to eat. And I wanted to get a picture of it. So 15 minutes after it was placed in the forest, I was going out to go take a picture of it in place, and the thing was gone. It disappeared from where the people put it. There was no wool pulled off of it. There were no tracks from like lions. It just disappeared.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Adrian, can you bring up the presentation that says UFO RAM on it?
Nope. Which one is that?
The first one.
UFO RAM.
They all say they all say Pam on my.
Oh, you don't see the bottoms? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it just said Pam.
I thought you were just
Pam.
I just thought you were being
Just being
Adrian. Everybody saying that.
Every one of them say Pam.
In this photo, there is no roads or anything back there. As far as you can see, that it's all countryside. There's no houses or anything. It's probably 10 miles to the closest house. So these lights just came out of nowhere. And there was a series of 3 of them, and it felt very weird there, and you could just feel the static in the air. It was very strange.
That is wild.
That is crazy.
Well, it's a wild view, so yeah, that is pretty interesting. What do we got?
Oh, Karen had. Oh, you could show chat stuff in there too. Karen had a question.
Who? What? Who? What?
Karen Whitaker had a question.
She
asked if Zach got possessed.
Oh yeah, that way back when.
Well, I'm sorry, I just now saw that comment.
Oh
I'm sitting there looking at private chat, going, "Why am I not seeing the comments?" That's
So
why.
How far away were you from that location where that ram was?
We're actually, the camera was placed right where the body was of the lamb. And
But
it had a triangle cut out of its jawbone. There was no blood. And also there was a perfectly round circle taken out of the abdomen with no blood.
That's crazy.
That is a classic. Yeah. Classic.
And before, and I'm sorry, I'm sitting in the middle of a Marion, Virginia, in front of a train station, so I'm waiting for a train to come by. But anyway, so I'm playing with the microphone when you guys aren't playing with it. Anyway, you were mentioning something about the whistling before. I've experienced that in quite a few different places. Theaters, prisons, just all over the place. Do you think is it kind of a common theme for you as well?
Ken, are you asking me?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Probably only 3 times in my whole career of doing it have I had whistles.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Lots of singing and stuff like that, but just not whistles.
On the UFO, did you hear anything? Like, feel anything when you went to look for the ram?
No, it just seemed normal. There was no tracks or anything like that, but it just felt like there was static in the air. And of course, it's shocking to see a dead animal mutilated, but
Well, yeah,
All
Sure.
right.
Absolutely.
yeah.
but
Absolutely. Okay, well, thanks for answering those. I'll be back.
Now, have you seen anything else other than that when it comes to like a UFO kind of?
well, we have a tour on our tours. It's called Night Sky Tours, and we set up a theater in the middle of nowhere. It's probably 15 miles from any light source, and we have seen things through the Gen 3 night vision goggles that you just can't explain. It's like they appear in the goggles like a golden orb, and they're attached with a thread, and then there's like a dowel or a barbell behind it, and they just cruise across the sky with that. And we don't know if it's something that Elon Musk is doing or
No.
there's just so many.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced he's not an alien.
It's a
But
Russian.
it would actually respond to lasers being shot on it. It would move away from them.
Really?
And I don't think that anything that was man-made would do that.
Yeah.
No.
It would
Oh,
be
sorry.
programmed for its course, and that would be where it would go.
That's fascinating.
That is very interesting.
And then there's another thing that comes through our valley where we have this night sky tours, and we call it the giant pumpkin. And it's a big orange. It looks like a pumpkin, and it just flies through. And all of our guests, they're like, what the heck? And
So
one time we would get
happens
on
a lot? Like the pumpkin?
I would say probably 3 or 4 times.
Really? That's
Mhm.
fascinating.
And we would get in our cars and we would chase after it because it was moved fairly slow, and then it would just poof disappear.
Is it always in the same spot or just random?
Random.
Huh.
Well, it's not a satellite. Satellites are always
Right.
in the same orbit. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
That's interesting.
That is very interesting.
So you're mentioning these. Oh, sorry, Ken. Go ahead.
You say, is it low to the ground then, or is it?
yeah, fairly low. I would say. I mean, it's hard to judge, but I would say it's probably not more than 300 feet off the ground.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is
fairly
not
low.
far off the ground at all.
No, not at all.
And
Wow.
when it does come through, it emanates a frequency of 320,000 millihertz. So whatever this thing is, that's what it produces.
Wow.
I don't know what to do with that information, but
Yeah, interesting tidbit though, for sure.
Well, I know somebody that's really into the different megahertz when it comes to sounds because he uses it a lot in his research and stuff. His name is JK Paranormal, JK47, and he talks about the different tonals and everything and how one is
kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's interesting to find out that the different sounds can make somebody feel a certain way and also make the spirits and other things do certain things. So
Right.
it is rather interesting.
yeah,
I think it's fascinating
does
too
work.
when you look at like ancient, there's some ancient things that have been built that have a really strange pattern to them, and they have been, some of them have been matched up with some harmonics, the patterns that are built into the ancient temples and things like that, which
Yeah.
is really fascinating.
Yeah.
And what were you saying, Terry? I'm sorry, I'm deaf in both ears, so your the tone of your voice kind of grums together, and that's just because of my hearing. So, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
I don't think you interrupted me, but
Oh, okay.
I can move on.
So you've told us a little bit about some of the tours. I know you have quite a few different types of tours. Can you tell us about some of the other ones that you have going on?
Yeah, I'll just list them all for you.
Okay.
We had one at the Wilson Hotel. It's called the Midland Railroad Hotel. It's in Wilson, Kansas, and we were kind of the first ones to start that. There's a jail house that's there, and a Masonic temple, and we would run tours through there, and those are pretty active areas. There, we have the Ellenwood Underground, which is one of the last undergrounds that are left in Kansas. And way back when, I was at this antique store that's there, and I asked the guy if he ever had ghosts because it felt creepy in there, and he said, "Well, I don't know, but there could be some underneath the building." And so I thought I was just going into a basement, and we went down there, and it was like a whole city under there. It was crazy. And I came up and I told him, "You need to open this up for tours. What are you doing? You have a gold mine down there." "Oh no, no one wants to go down there." And
They don't know a lot of people, do they?
no. But this was back before the paranormal craze was going.
I got you.
But he finally sold the place, and the new guy, I got with him, and we started tours in there, and he's got it all opened up. There's a saloon and everything down there. And we've got some really good evidence there with the Russell County Police, or the sheriff in Russell County was there, and they weren't cheating anything. It was all up and up, and we got some pretty good responses from what would have been maybe a prostitute at the time, and they were basically waiting there for their little brother to come off the wagon train. And so they got all these answers, and I have the EVP somewhere, but my program for it's called Audacity. It's like crashed, so I can't get anything out.
Oh yeah.
But we also do the Brown Grand Theater in Concordia, and that place is extremely active. I have a whole EVP session and a whole like 20-minute conversation with this woman that's there, and she was telling me that she got the booth that they sat in for a perk for her husband working for this guy's bank, and her kids were brought to school in a carriage. I mean, she was like telling me all the stuff about, and this was all through this 260 millihertz circuitry that I came up with.
Wow.
That is so cool.
It's on YouTube. If you do a search on Silo Sounds, you'll see it on YouTube for the Brown Grand.
That's something we'll ask you now, and we'll ask you again towards the end of the show. We did have a question in the chat, and for some reason I tried to post your link and it won't let me. Can you tell us, I know they were asking, yes, for a list of tours, and your website is adventuretourskansas.com. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm trying to get it in the chat, and it's just not working. I'll try to go through my phone, see if I can get it in that way.
Someone asked about why are Masonic temples so active?
Probably because they knew all about ley lines and frequencies, and a lot of their worship that they do in there aligns with those beliefs and those religions. And I think that it draws the I won't say it draws negative, but it's predominantly negative energy to it. Like if you could see the ley lines that are within the Masonic lodges, you would see pits of vipers, basically. I mean, they're highly negative frequencies. And when I go and investigate them or even work at them, the frequencies that I pick up are right up there with Homeland Security type frequencies.
Oh wow.
And I don't even understand all that, but they make people feel sick that are on my tours, and I try to
Ooh.
keep my people as safe as possible because this stuff is real. It's not fake. I mean, and yeah, I've had a lot of people in Masonic temples get sick and have to leave.
Masonic temples are just so they're well.
I've only been
I
to
guess
one.
it's the feels. Lots of people step inside one and just feel heavy, and they don't. There's nothing likable about it.
Well, there's a lot of emotions there too. I think I've investigated 3 or 4 of them, and they're, as you say, they're always active, and it is kind of a creepy feeling, especially when you turn the lights off in there. So
Yeah. A lot of them have been decommissioned for some reason here in Kansas. We just have the
Huh.
main temples. But even the ones that have been decommissioned, they're very heavy.
Interesting.
Mhm.
That is.
I wonder why a lot of them are getting decommissioned.
They don't need them anymore.
We're gonna-
Like, how many people are part of the Masonic lodges anymore?
There's quite a few. It's still
there's
pretty
quite a
popular.
few, yeah.
Huh.
There's a lot of porch masons. We call them porch masons, which are below the 12th level. And that's what predominantly is in our region is porch masons. There's no high ranking ones anymore.
Huh.
Yeah. So when it comes to, you were talking about ley lines. Do you do any tours that involve ley lines or things like that?
Yeah, I do. Like the Garden of Eden in Lucas.
Hmm.
It's built on a ley line, and the creator of the Garden of Eden was Samuel Perry Dinsmore, and he was a 32-degree Mason and a Grand Worshipful Master, and he was sent out here from Pennsylvania to create a place in paradise. So they were following the biblical story of paradise, and when he got out here, he said, "This is not paradise. This is horrid." So he said, "I'm just going to have to make my own Garden of Eden." So he started creating this place out of concrete, and there's a lot of Masonic symbolism in it, and a lot of the Masons, they have a lot of secret stuff behind there, but I've studied them for so long, I know quite a bit of the secrecy, and that place is just steeped with all the secrets. And when he finally passed away, he had a guy that was supposed to embalm him like an Egyptian king.
Oh wow.
He paid him ahead of time, and he passed away, and the guy took his money and ran.
Oh,
That's
rude.
It was in the June time of the year, and they had to. In those days, they didn't have telephones, they didn't have internet, so his wife had to go ahead and start searching someone that could do an Egyptian burial, and it took 15 days.
Oh my gosh.
And
Wow.
they didn't embalm bodies back in those days.
Yeah.
They kept him in the cellar. So I was lucky enough to talk to his granddaughter, and she was, I mean, his daughter, and she said, Dad laid in the house for so long. She said we just got sick of his body being around, and one time I climbed up on it and was playing dolls on top of him.
Wow.
My God, that's sick.
Right? Oh, geez.
But she said, we always knew this place was created for his death because he built the step pyramid in the back where he's buried in glass, and you can go in and view his body now. But that place is very active. There's a lot of EVPs that we catch there where it would sound like an older man, probably his age. And a lot of his family works at the Garden of Eden because they still live in the town. And one of our tour guides, her name's Marianne, and she's a great niece of Densmore. And he would always try to contact her. He would say, "Marianne, where are you? Marianne. And we caught, I don't know, hundreds of EVPs with him talking to her.
Oh, wow.
So we always request her, like, can Marianne?
Right?
On this Garden of Eden, I'm not sure physically where you're located, but are you in the path of the solar eclipse next week?
No, not at all. No.
I was just wondering if it had anything to do with that, because there's a lot of stories going around right now that all of these, religious
Oh, yeah.
and it's like, are you really for real? But I was just kind of wondering if maybe it had something to do with, with that, or if that solar eclipse even passed over that particular area.
It is kind of interesting, though, with all the
I mean-
names of the cities that it's going in.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I plan on witnessing it next week, because we're in the path of it near me, about 60 miles away. So I'm going to head down. But I'm going to actually put my paranormal stuff with me and see if I can do some investigating during it and see what see what happens this time.
The sad part is it's going to be overcast the entire way across the United States where it's going.
That is a bummer.
Weird.
Yeah.
That is too weird.
Oh,
There were
that's
so many people in Arkansas and Texas and Oklahoma that actually purchased Airbnbs because they were going there, and they're all having to get refunds because it's not going to be it's going to be a no-show.
Now watch, they're getting refunds and it's gonna start.
Yeah.
yeah, the jet stream will change.
Oh my gosh, that is.
Yeah, because I'm in the St. Louis area, and it's supposed to be coming right across us too.
Yeah.
Mm. Wow.
What we got? Okay.
It's
We also
interesting.
had back to the tours, we also had Alexander High School. It's in Alexander, Kansas. And we actually purchased that building. It was a 30,000 square foot building. And we started to do a preservation project on it because I wanted it to be a research center for paranormal. That was my intent, though, the entire time. And come to find out, it was highly haunted.
Oh my!
It
So
had,
you kind of got a
it had,
gold mine out of it.
Yeah.
yeah.
No kidding. That is really cool.
We had Indian activity there, and we also had stuff from the school. We had one tour, and this one investigator was saying, are you a little girl? Can you sing a song to me? And almost immediately they started singing Row, Row, Row Your Boat.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Nice.
And so the investigator started singing with it, and it just kept going, and it started into a round.
Yeah.
Because that song sometimes it's sung in a round.
Yeah,
And
that's really cool.
this one kid got so scared he ran out. He just went screaming out of the building because it was just so.
Yeah, because Row 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 Your Boat is a scary song.
Yeah.
It is when the little girl is singing it.
Now, I
then
know
we-
you do other tours too. You do like fossil hunting tours. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, the fossils for me, it goes around the same type of phenomenon because all the science people have all their theories on why there was dinosaurs, why there was an inland ocean, and all these things. But checking into like ancient text and Sanskrit and stuff, you can find that their stories just don't really jive with what history is written. So I wanted to find out what's out there, and my son, he was really into fossils, so we take people out there every weekend and dig up fossils, and there's some crazy stuff out there that you just couldn't imagine how they could be there.
That's awesome.
We were on one archaeological dig in Colorado, and they said that rhinos and hippos and all these woolly creatures were on the plains during those times, and no humans were there, just these animals. And in our dig site, we found bones that had butcher marks on them.
Oh.
So if there was no man,
Wow.
how was there butcher marks?
Yeah.
That
Well,
wow.
The Smithsonian came in and whisked those bones away. They didn't even show up in the reports on the dig.
They're famous
so-
for that.
So you just see all this cover up, and that's why I want to do the fossil stuff, because I know we're going to find some stuff that is going to break their theories.
Oh yeah.
Good for you, because that's something that always has irritated me, because there's too many times that there's too much out there that things like that have been covered up.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist, but things
Well,
like that.
Well,
Yeah,
I am.
I try to rein it in.
maybe it was the aliens that were hungry.
Yeah.
Could be.
I mean,
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Well, the Sanskrit writes about how there was this planet Tiamat, and the beings on the moon had a war with them and blew up their planet. Well, it was an ocean planet, and all the salt water from that planet came into our Earth and flooded it with salt water and all the creatures that were on that planet. So where would they get that story from, and why would they know it?
Right.
But then the Bible has, Noah and his flood,
Yeah.
and
And Gilgamesh, he had his blood.
Yep.
so,
I
And
mean,
Kansas used to be a shallow sea, so.
right.
And then
Yeah.
we've got, Hutch has the salt mines, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty interesting.
it does make you wonder.
It does. Now I know before we get too out in the weeds here, you did write a book. Could
Yep.
you tell us a little bit about that? And Adrian, could you bring up? It's the third. Yes, there you go.
Yep. It's the etherical release, and it really kind of houses all of the research that I've done in frequency. And I can give you a gist of what the book's about. Everything in your life that happens to you is recorded in your DNA. Your DNA can hold megabytes of information, and it's all supported with the energy that your body creates through chemical changes in your brain and other organs in your body that creates a piezoelectricity that keeps it all together. Well, when you die, you no longer are producing that energy that holds all that information in the DNA. So where does it go? And that's where all of our research came from, was that frequency is just like an AM radio station broadcasting to a station on a radio. It goes to what it knows. And there's no way that it can't go to that. It can't go to other things. It has to go to what it knows. So a lot of times when I would do my life coaching and stuff, people would be haunted by their relatives and they didn't know why. They'd be like, I just want them to rest in peace. Why are they here? Well, that's because their DNA is similar to that person. So even though that person's in the grave, that frequency that's in the DNA is going to that DNA. And there's no way to stop it. Where it comes to be a problem is when I call it hijacked frequency. And when frequency is in the negative realm or spectrum, it can attach onto positive things because they're bipolar. So if your DNA frequency is going out into the waves and the negative frequency can attach onto it, usually the negative frequency is way down in the 120. It can go from the 200s down to 100 millihertz. And it just sits there and holds on to it. So that's why people are like thinking, my husband came and visited me after he died. What was that all about? Well, it was most likely hijacked frequency, because it manifested like that man. It manifested his belief, his demeanor, and that person was familiar to it. So I invented a machine that would actually absorb that negative frequency and house it, and it can't escape it. So I thought, for a while I was probably losing my marbles and doing all this research, and we were at Abilene at the cow town down there, and we were in Wyatt Earp's jailhouse, and it was very heavy. And I was like, I'm just going to throw this machine out, and I did. And the EVP that we caught was of a demon screaming as it was being sucked into this machine.
Oh my God.
And I sat that on the shelf because there's no one that can analyze that kind of stuff. There's no place to take that kind of stuff. I sat it on the shelf in my lab. But about 3 years later, I get a phone call at night one night, and it's this woman. And she says to me, I know that you caught a demon in a machine, and it's talking to me. It wants to be let free. I was like, well, I said, well, how did you get my phone number? Because it was my private phone. And she said, the demon gave me your phone number.
Ah,
Well, how can the demon talk to her if it's caught?
I don't know. That
is crazy.
That was what was weird. I didn't know this woman. I mean, I never even heard of her. She wasn't in my town. And she would call me all the time, and she would say, you've got to let it loose. It's screaming. The screaming is like getting to my head. I can't stand it.
No, thank you. We're not doing that.
No, I'm not doing anything with you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
And so the last time she called me, she said, it's just too much. It's taking my soul away. I can't deal with this. And she committed suicide that night. So I know
that's heavy.
I know that I'm onto something with this machine. It's tragic that I had to learn by someone else's demise, but
yeah,
I think it can be used if it can be, understood more.
Mm-hmm.
But it uses a technology, Germanic diodes and mirrors and things.
Have you took it to a demonologist or exorcist to see if they could?
No, because our region of Kansas, those kind of people are iffy at best. You might get some.
I know a couple people.
Oh, you do?
No, you.
Yeah, I know a couple people that are pretty legit and straightforward. So, if you would like to talk to them,
yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Regarding the DNA aspect of things, my understanding is, doesn't it also follow through your generations? So my DNA would include a lot of my ancestors' DNA, or at least bits and pieces of it, to build who I am. And the other side of it is, have you found out, or have you discovered, or is there any future within our DNA?
Any future?
Yeah, I mean, you said it stores the past, but is there any future aspects within our DNA that we're not aware of? Have you looked into that aspect?
I believe what you're saying is true. I just have not, with my research, gone to those areas. I've just done the past and what frequency comes from the grave. And I totally understand what you're saying, and I believe that's true, but I don't have any evidence on that.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, but it's something that has been thought of. That's great.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I may end up losing you guys permanently because I'm almost out of juice.
oh no!
I hate being out of juice.
I know my laptop didn't work, and I'm on my phone, and now my phone's almost out of juice. I'm like, really? So, but if I'll wave right now, just in case.
Just in case you go poof.
And thanks for joining us.
Woo!
This has been pretty fascinating. So thank you very much.
Well, Ken, hopefully you'll be here for this little bit, because Terry did send us some more photos, and it was from Fort Hays, Kansas. Can you bring that up, Adrian? And Terry, can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, Fort Hays is in Hays, Kansas. It's near the college, and anyone can go there, except for this area that this picture was taken. I had to get special permission because it was on the golf course. It was where the original cemetery was for the fort. And there was a woman there that was a nurse, and she caught cholera and died. And she wanted to be buried up on this hill that's by there. but they couldn't break the soil because it was frozen in the winter. So they buried her down in this cemetery. And they say that she haunts the area because she's uncontent where she's buried. So
Oh.
this was a night, and it just started feeling really heavy and crazy. And so I turned into the complete darkness. I had a camera that was not low lux at all. It was just a standard camera. And I shot into the darkness and thought, I don't know if I'll catch anything or not. But when I brought it home and enhanced it, I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh,
It's really
there's
cool.
3 people there.
Right?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool picture.
So
It
the
Well, it's
one,
like I said before, you're like the apparition magnet.
well, this guy that's on there now, he's missing part of his head. If
Oh
you can
God, I
see
It
see
is.
that. Yes.
And then
Oh.
the other two, one's missing its legs and the other one's missing upper parts. So it was like they
Oh,
were
gosh.
in and out of frequency to.
There, but
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
But they say that she walks around with a black shawl and a blue dress, and I don't know. That's pretty darn close to black shawl and blue dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and it's hard to get. It's almost like that picture of the dress, and what color is it? It's not the most optimum lighting, so of course things are going to be pretty wild. And I like Facebook user says, "Holy crap!" So yeah, so yeah.
I don't understand why the man's standing there though, because her husband was buried in Arkansas, and the
Well,
guy.
I mean, I don't think you're stuck there. I mean, I think ghosts go down to Florida when it's weather's good. And
I'm going to Scotland and Ireland. I don't know
Well,
about you guys.
it's moist. It's moist and cold there. No, screw that. I'm going to freaking somewhere in the Caribbean. Anyhow, but yeah, these pictures are pretty awesome. Just
They are.
so now I was messing with my mouse here. Now you're walking along and you just take this picture randomly, or you just felt the need to take a picture, or why did you take this picture?
Well, I was walking on that black path that's in the picture there,
Yeah.
and I felt like something was following me, and I just felt real creepy, and so I just turned around and took a picture.
Oh, so this is behind you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh! Wow.
Yeah,
No,
I
that's
know
not
that.
creepy at all.
I know that feeling. Yeah, and I'm like, ugh. As a matter of fact, one of the coolest pictures that we got as a team was like that. We come walking out, we come through a doorway, walk through it, and we kind of like just get the hoogie and took 2 pictures. Boom, boom. One picture, something was there. The other picture wasn't. So,
Right.
but yeah, that's pretty cool. No, this one here, I'm like, okay, that's kind of creepy. But this one is wicked. I like that.
Yeah.
That is a great capture for sure.
Yeah. I'm not jealous at all.
I'm a little jelly.
No,
I
that's
wish
pretty
I
cool.
could catch apparitions like that.
Absolutely.
Those are amazing.
Aren't they? Aren't you
You
glad
get-
you were
you
able to stick around for that, kid?
Actually, I was. Do you guys see my background here?
Yeah.
Barbershop?
It looks like you're sitting in a guillotine from our perspective.
Oh, it kind of
Yeah,
does.
it does look that way. I got a little tiny picture. It's about this big, but it's a train station behind me, and I keep hearing tappings on the window.
I'm not.
And I'm like, are you guys seeing anything back there?
Oh.
No.
So I don't know. It's pretty cool. It's an
You
old.
can't hear me from there
I mean, it's an old
because I'm sharing.
Marion,
the-
Virginia. It's an old.
You should
It's
be able
still
to hear me
active
from
apparently.
the
Train
stream
station.
Pretty wild.
Okay, back to Mike.
Okay.
How funny. Okay, Terry, we're getting a little short on time here, so
Gosh,
if you
can
could let
Oh,
everybody
I
know
know
again-
why.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm talking to my husband. Don't go
make
ahead.
me mute you.
Yeah, watch out. Adrian will use the power. If you could let everybody again know how they can find you,
Okay.
just
He's like,
on
"I'm right here."
Facebook or on website and things like that?
Well, we have a website, and it's adventuretourskansas.com.
Mhm.
And we're also on Facebook, and it's just the same thing, adventuretourskansas.com.
Great.
It would say
Nice.
of Kansas, except for GoDaddy sold the of from me during COVID and wants
Wow.
$1,600 for it.
Rude.
That's rotten. Yeah, no kidding.
Well, that is GoDaddy for you.
So, can you tell us about maybe some tours that you might have coming up soon? Anything?
Yeah, we have our prairie tours, and I like to work with the frequencies of plants for healing and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And so I teach people how to make potions and remedies, and we go out onto the plains via UTV, and we gather the stuff, and then we bring them back to my classroom, and we make all the different stuff. And
Nice.
we also will have another haunted tour in Harlan, Kansas, with a hayrack ride. So just keep checking our site and check for dates, and we don't always have dates up there, so it's usually because we have other stuff scheduled. But
Yeah.
I'm having a real problem.
people can come for a weekend visit because we have like a little motel that people can stay in.
Oh, nice.
And, our facility is about 30,000 square feet. And we do dog herding, demonstrations, and all different kinds of things like that. So
I didn't do that.
I'm sorry.
He heard the
My
dog
bad.
word. I just lost my train of thought. Something else.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Ooh, puppy.
Where are you located?
we are in Osborne, Kansas.
Where is that in Kansas?
It's north central, and it's upper in the counties. It's like a county away from Nebraska. So
Okay,
we're
so
way
are you up like
on top.
north of Riley County, or
We are west of Riley.
you're west of Riley? Okay.
Yeah. So it goes Rooks County, Osborne County, and if you know where Hayes is, where the college.
Yep.
We're about 90 miles as a crow flies to the
Okay.
east.
Cool.
So, yeah.
So would that be north of Highway 70?
Yeah.
Quite a ways. I can't remember exactly where. I've driven it, but I can't remember. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's quite a ways from I-70. It's probably 40 or 50 miles from I-70.
Okay.
I have a son in Manhattan at K-State right now. He's going to graduate in May, but yeah, that's why I actually know where Riley County is.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
I have no clue, but that's just me.
It's about 3.5 hours north of me.
I'm from LA. I'm from Lower Alabama. I'm
Oh
still
my
trying to
God.
learn Oklahoma.
I do have a question for you. Now, everywhere that you've investigated, where's your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
I would say probably the Garden of Eden because of the history behind it. It's a really cool place, and the guy was amazing with all of his sculptures and stuff.
Yes. I've been by there, but I've never been in it, and I would love to check it out sometime. I wish, Adrian, I don't know can you look up Garden of Eden, Lucas,
Oh my goodness.
and bring that up?
Have you
Welcome
not
to
seen
my
the
world,
problem?
Adrian.
No, it's my mouse. I'm telling you. I need an old school
You notice
mouse to
Adrian's
get my-
awfully quiet tonight. He's
Well, yeah, because
busy, isn't he?
well, I've been with my friend Johnny's on the chat. He's Facebook user, and it's not coming from the chat. Everything that we post in the chat ain't going to him. So I'm like chatting to him, and then every time I'm trying to go somewhere with my mouse, it's not going. And I'm like,
Oh,
So
wow.
he's extremely busy.
Yeah.
We've got him occupied, don't we?
most of my problem has been my mouse. I've been like, it'd take me 5 minutes to go across the screen. So
That's why I like the plug-in mice.
I will have this remedied. Of course, I haven't played with it since last week, so I was like, oh, I knew there was a problem last week. So
Oh,
maybe I
Okay,
need a
so-
battery in it.
maybe.
If you could bring up the website, it's gardenofedenlucas.org, LUCAS.org.
Yeah,
And
I had it up
Kind
there.
of show everybody a picture of what
I
it
had
looks
it-
like,
I
because
had-
it's an
I-
amazing
I'm
place.
trying to go this far on my screen, and it won't let me Do it. Yep. I'm hovering right above present. There it is. And oh, that's not what I wanted.
How
Stop
funny.
screen.
A few years ago, Kohler, the faucet company,
Mhm.
bought the Garden of Eden, and they put $3 million into restoration of it.
I did not know
And
that.
yeah, but then they gave it back to a organization called Friends of Densmore, and they run it now.
Really? That's pretty
Oh.
cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting.
I had another question too, if I can remember what it was now. Darn it. You told us about things.
Dave, you're live from the train.
Uh,
I was showing you the train coming and cutting across over there.
oh wow.
Fossil hat.
Wrong website.
Are you seeing that?
Yeah, we see that.
Okay. What did you say? Wrong website?
Yeah, wrong website.
Plesiosaurs. I like that. You find those too?
Oh well. I can.
And if you're just joining us, if you've never been on here with us before, we are trying out a new platform tonight.
Oh yeah, it's a mess too. Ah,
Hey, we're looking up our name. We're A.M.O.K. We're always
okay, there we go. Okay, forget it. We'll figure it out. Hey.
Hey, we're here.
So we'll
What's
throw
up?
that link.
So usually we're like Crazy A.M.O.K at the beginning, and now we're Crazy A.M.O.K at the end. So all right.
That's true. That is true. So
It
you were
ain't me
talking about
tonight,
some
y'all.
of you were talking about some of the different types of equipment that you have created or invented. Are you still doing that? Is there anything that you're working on that you want to share?
There's a couple things I'm still working on. I'm trying to perfect the one that can house demons, and also my negative ion generators, because I need one that can actually put out more. My largest one doesn't really put out adequate amounts, and I have to be careful because it can make people sick. So
yeah.
but it's a good way to be able to energize the negative frequencies is through ion.
I'm gonna have to get you in touch with JK47 because he and you would have a very good conversation on those sound waves.
For sure.
Do you make the equipment just for yourself, or do you sell it at all?
I used to sell it to the Ghost Hunter store and Ghost Stop down in Florida, and then I had a couple other ones across the sea. And when COVID hit, I just was really discouraged. I just didn't really want to do it no more. So
I think a lot of people got discouraged during that time.
My phone
my sales really went down.
Bye, Ken.
Bye, Ken. You made the whole show though, because we're getting ready to end it all here.
I made it to the end, but thank you for answering the questions and being on the show. It's been amazing.
That's been fascinating.
Very interesting.
Can we send you a friend request?
Sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
All right. I'm probably going to be dying here in a moment. So
well, don't die in IRL.
Yeah, time right now to say bye to everybody because hey, next week.
Well, hang on. I was going to say
next week is my turn. I'm going to have Santiago Cirillo on. You need to check him out. He's loud and he's wild and he's kind of funny. He's got a great story. So be sure to join us then. It'll be fantastic. We'll be talking about his event here in Arkansas in just a few months. So Terry, stick around and everybody, bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
too funny because I'm trying to hit end
We're
screen
still
button.
live.
I know we are.